Brazil dropped points on the biggest stage in football, and Morocco showed the world they mean business. Welcome to FairPlay, Football AI Review. This was Group C's most anticipated opening fixture, and it delivered a result that reshuffles expectations across the entire group. Brazil needed a winning start to assert their status as tournament favorites. Morocco needed to prove their 2022 semi-final run was no fluke and that they belong among the elite. Neither team got everything they wanted, but one of them left MetLife Stadium far more satisfied than the other. The pre-match narrative centered heavily on Brazil. Carlo Ancelotti was managing a Seleção side that had looked inconsistent throughout South American qualifying, drawing 4 of their last 5 competitive matches before arriving in New York. Morocco, meanwhile, came in riding a wave of momentum from 5 wins in their 6 most recent matches, with a settled squad and a clear tactical identity forged under Mohamed Ouabi. Brazil lined up in a 4-2-3-1, with Alisson in goal behind a back 4 of Roger Ibanez, Marquinhos, Gabriel, and Douglas Santos. Casemiro and Bruno Guimarães anchored the midfield double pivot, with Rafinha, Lucas Paquetá, and Vinicius Jr. operating across the attacking 3 and Igor Thiago leading the line. Ancelotti's intent was clear: build from deep, use the width of Vinicius and Rafinha to stretch Morocco, and create overloads centrally through Paquetá. Morocco mirrored Brazil's 4-2-3-1, with Yassine Bounou behind a back 4 of Achraf Hakimi, Chadi Riyad, Issa Diop, and Noussair Mazraoui. Neil El Ainaoui and Ayoub Bouadi shielded the defense, with Azzedine Ounahi and Bilal El Khanous supporting Brahim Diaz behind a dynamic Ismail Saibari. Morocco's plan was compact defensive blocks and lethal transitions, exactly the formula that devastated European giants 4 years ago. The key structural mismatch emerged almost immediately in the spaces behind Brazil's midfield pivot. Morocco's wide attackers were disciplined in dropping to create numerical parity when defending, but devastatingly vertical when the ball was won. Brazil's fullbacks, particularly Roger Ibanez, pushed high and left gaps in behind. Brahim Diaz identified that vulnerability from the opening minutes and repeatedly threaded passes into the channels, exposing Brazil's high defensive line. The first half's opening exchanges were deceptive. Brazil controlled the ball in the sweltering New Jersey heat, with 87% pass accuracy suggesting comfort. But Morocco's dangerous attack count told a different story. The Atlas Lions were not passive. They pressed intelligently in structured waves, forcing Brazil into hurried turnovers in their own half and transitioning with a speed and precision that the Seleção's backline consistently struggled to contain. The opening goal arrived in the 21st minute, and it was a moment of genuine class. Brahim Diaz spotted the space behind Gabriel and played a perfectly weighted through ball, releasing Saibari in behind. The Eredivisie player of the season met the pass in his stride, read Alisson's positioning with sharp intelligence, and chipped the Liverpool goalkeeper with a composed first-time finish. Brazil's defense had been too high, too open, and Morocco punished it with clinical efficiency. Brazil's equalizer came 11 minutes later, and it was worthy of the occasion. Vinicius Jr., bursting with intent down the left, exchanged a neat pass with Bruno Guimarães and used his assistant to pull 3 Moroccan defenders toward the ball. Creating just enough space with a sharp change of direction past Neil El Ainaoui, Vinicius then drove a precise right-footed shot into the far corner past the outstretched Bounou. His 10th international goal, and a moment that reminded the world exactly why he is considered among the finest attackers on the planet. Morocco's best first-half chance that failed to produce a goal came through Saibari again, this time cutting inside from the right and dragging an effort narrowly wide of Alisson's right post. It was a reminder that the Atlas Lions were not sitting on their lead. They were hunting for more, and Brazil were genuinely fortunate not to be 2 goals down before the half-hour mark. The yellow cards changed the first half fundamentally. Casemiro was booked in the 37th minute for a foul that carried more desperation than calculation, and Roger Ibanez followed him into the referee's notebook in the 43rd minute, with an ill-timed challenge that drew sharp criticism from the Brazilian bench. Ancelotti now faced a decision at the interval: risk both players picking up second bookings and finishing with 9 men, or make the difficult but necessary changes. Ancelotti made both changes immediately at the restart, and it was the correct call, however painful. Danilo replaced Ibanez at right back, and Fabinho came on for Casemiro in the pivot. The logic was sound: protect the personnel, protect the clean sheet, and eliminate the disciplinary risk. But it represented a significant tactical concession. Two of Brazil's most influential midfield voices were gone before the second half had begun. The early second-half pressure was encouraging. 6 corners, sustained territory, and Rafinha growing increasingly dangerous down the right side. Yet the final quality in the box remained frustratingly absent, and Morocco's defensive organization held firm. The 61st and 62nd minutes brought a double substitution from Ancelotti that fundamentally altered Brazil's attacking geometry. Matheus Cunha replaced Lucas Paquetá, injecting directness and forward running, while Luis Henrique came on for Igor Thiago, who had struggled to impose himself as a lone center forward throughout. The changes gave Brazil's attack more movement and energy, but with Morocco's defensive block now compact and resolute, breaking them down remained an enormous challenge. Morocco made their own double change in the 65th minute, withdrawing the impressive Azzedine Ounahi and Brahim Diaz, both of whom had been pivotal to the first-half game plan, and introducing Samir El Mourabi and Chemsdine Talbi. El Mourabi, just 19 years old, made his competitive debut for the Atlas Lions, and his composure under pressure in the closing stages spoke to the quality running through Moroccan football's youth pipeline. In the 80th minute, both sides made further changes. Brazil's Edinson Danilo came on to replace Bruno Guimarães, while Morocco brought on Ayoube Amaimouni Echgouyab and Anas Salah Eddine simultaneously, freshening their legs for the final push. The match had settled into a tense, tactical stalemate by this point, with neither side willing to sacrifice defensive security for all-or-nothing attacking ambition. The decisive moment of the match, or rather, the decisive absence of one, came in the final 10 minutes. Brazil had accumulated expected goals figure of 1.19. They should have found a winner. Instead, a combination of Bunu's sharp reflexes, Morocco's organized defensive shape, and Brazil's own imprecision in the box conspired to keep the scoreline level. The chance to grab all 3 points came and went, without the ruthlessness a tournament of this magnitude demands. The possession statistics told one story. Brazil edged it 51 to 49%, with 449 accurate passes to Morocco's 419, but those numbers mask the real narrative. Morocco generated 47 dangerous attacks to Brazil's 33, and their willingness to press high and transition at pace meant they were far more threatening than the ball share suggests. Brazil held the ball, Morocco held the danger. In terms of attacking threat, Brazil registered 12 shots to Morocco's 14, with 5 on target compared to Morocco's 3. The expected goals figure of 1.19 for Brazil against 0.78 for Morocco implies the Seleção created the better opportunities. Yet Bunu made 4 saves to Alisson's 2, and in tournament football, a goalkeeper who outperforms his expected saves figure is worth every bit as much as the most creative midfielder on the pitch. Defensively, Morocco's discipline was exceptional. 26 tackles from the Atlas Lions, 6 shots blocked, and a collective defensive intelligence that made Brazil work through multiple phases before finding even half openings. Brazil's defensive performance was more problematic. They conceded from their first real moment of exposure, and Marquinhos and Gabriel were repeatedly stretched by the pace and directness of Morocco's transitions throughout the match. The standout performer on the Brazil side was Vinicius Jr., and the argument requires very little embellishment. He scored the equalizer, created constant problems with his directness, drew fouls in dangerous areas, and was the one player on the pitch who looked genuinely capable of winning the match from nothing. His movement, his combination play with Bruno Guimarães, and his finishing technique were at the highest level. On a night when Brazil needed someone to seize the occasion, only Vinicius truly answered the call. For Morocco, Ismael Saibari was the player of the evening. The PSV midfielder was electric from the first whistle, scoring with a composed chip, creating dangerous situations whenever the ball reached his feet, and pressing with relentless intensity that unsettled Brazil's build-up throughout the first half. His assist count could have been higher, and his partnership with Brahim Diaz before the latter's withdrawal at 65 minutes was the engine that drove Morocco's most dangerous moments. The player who most disappointed was Igor Thiago. Starting as Brazil's center forward, the striker was largely anonymous for the hour he was on the pitch, winning no aerial duels of significance, making minimal runs in behind, and failing to hold the ball under pressure when Brazil needed an outlet. For a team expected to threaten at the tournament's highest level, their number 9 position remains a genuine concern, and Luis Enrique's energetic impact after coming on only highlighted the contrast. Tactically, Ancelotti got several things wrong. The decision to set such a high defensive line against a team with Morocco's transition speed was a gamble that cost Brazil the opening goal. The 2 yellow cards, both avoidable in their nature, forced his hand at half-time and disrupted a midfield structure he had spent months building. The second-half substitutions were correct in theory, but Brazil's inability to find a winning goal ultimately reflects a squad that is still searching for its identity at the highest level under their new manager. This was only the second meeting between Brazil and Morocco in their footballing histories, the first coming in a friendly. Brazil won that encounter, but this is an entirely different context. Morocco carried significant psychological momentum from this result, holding a team of Brazil's stature to a draw on the world's biggest stage in front of over 80,000 fans who were predominantly supporting the opposition, is a statement of intent that will echo through the tournament. Brazil's form coming into this tournament carried genuine concern. A defeat to Bolivia and 3 draws in their final 5 qualifying matches pointed to a team struggling for consistency. The squad is talented from front to back, but cohesion under Ancelotti has remained elusive, and this first game draw does nothing to resolve those questions. The heat and humidity in New Jersey clearly affected the tempo of their pressing game in the second half. Morocco arrived at this tournament having won 5 consecutive matches, with a squad that blends European club pedigree, Hakimi, Bounou, Mazraoui, Brahim Diaz, with the raw athleticism and collective spirit that made them the story of Qatar 2022. Their qualification campaign was clinical, and their tactical structure under Owabi is among the most sophisticated in the tournament field. This point against Brazil confirms they are very much a team to be feared in Group C and beyond. The Group C standings after the opening round see Scotland sitting top with 3 points, Morocco and Brazil level on 1 point each, and Haiti yet to play. Scotland's early victory changes everything. Both Brazil and Morocco now know that a second slip could realistically mean elimination. Brazil need maximum points against Haiti and then must take something from Scotland. Morocco face Scotland next, before concluding against Haiti at home. Looking ahead, Brazil's fixture against Haiti should be a comfortable win, but this group has already shown that form tables can be dismantled inside 21 minutes. Scotland represent a genuinely difficult final fixture for Brazil, and their position in Group C means nothing is guaranteed. For Morocco, facing Scotland in their next match is arguably the hardest possible follow-up fixture, and how the Atlas Lions navigate that game may define their tournament path entirely. My prediction is this: Morocco qualify from Group C, their defensive organization and transitional threat too potent for either Scotland or Haiti to contain. Brazil, despite the talent in their squad, are in genuine danger unless Ancelotti finds a winning formula quickly. This result proved that reputation alone buys nothing on a football pitch when the opposition has done their tactical homework. This was a match that had everything the opening round of a World Cup should deliver: a shock lead, a stunning equalizer, tactical intrigue, and a result that left qualification wide open for 3 of the 4 sides in the group. Brazil's star power did not win the night. Morocco's organization made sure of that. For fair play, this is the moment the 2026 World Cup truly announced itself. Next up, we turn our attention to what Scotland must do to hold their top-of-group position, and whether the dark horses in Group C can keep running. That's the fair play verdict on this one. If you want more analysis like this, follow us. Find us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at FairPlay AI, and follow Anthony personally on X at Anthony Fairplay. See you next match.